So Obama arrives in, where is he? London. He arrives for this economic meeting. Oh boy! And word is already out that it's not going to be the United States showing up to dictate terms. The way it's pretty much always been since the end of World War II, since the Bretton Woods Agreement in where was that? New Hampshire. All of a sudden, it's a whole different game. And as the president of Brazil said the other day, the global economy has been wrecked by blue-eyed white people. Well, Barack Obama certainly is not a blue-eyed white man, but he represents the blue-eyed white people in Washington and London who have, for some reason, decided that the game was getting boring, and so it was time to just destroy the entire world economy for sport. Now, I frankly, believe that we've got to move to a different model. They destroyed the economy, but it's the inherent flaws in capitalism, predatory capitalism, that allowed them to destroy the economy. It's kind of like the Windows system. You never, ever, ever will Windows operating system be foolproof and impossible for people to get into because it's just fatally flawed. It just is. Same is true with predatory capitalism. You can't have capitalism any longer because it's no longer possible to contain it, especially not in this country. The laws that we have in the books, unless we want to spend the next 25 years redoing all the laws, going through the court challenges by the corporations who will try to take it all the way to the Supreme Court and will. I remember it was the U.S. Supreme Court that ruled corporations have the same rights under the Constitution as individuals. So as far as reforming capitalism in this country, it's not going to happen. It can't happen. It simply can't happen. Bless his heart, what Obama is doing is trying to save capitalism. It cannot be saved. It is so simple. And other people, other world leaders, other economists around the planet understand this, and they know it. And they want Barack Obama to wake up and smell the coffee, more or less, so to speak. And that's one of the reasons that leaders like Sarkozy and Merkel and Lula and the rest of these people are saying, no, it's not going to happen. Now, the Chinese, of course, and the Russians and other countries that have forms of capitalism. China's is more of the updated model of fascism, the kind that Mussolini always lusted after and just couldn't seem to put together. The Russians still have that oligarchic system that eventually will crash and burn. Eventually, the people in that country will, bring out the guillotines and start lopping off heads, and it'll be the second Russian Revolution. But that's not what is concerning everybody right now. What has got the entire planet concerned is the voracious American consumption. I mean, in this country, we had 300 million people, and we all decided, God damn, look at this, as the speculators drove up the real estate prices to stratospheric heights, and everybody said, well, damn, I've got $150,000 equity. Damn, I've got $200,000 equity. Now, this was a deliberate move during the Bush years because there had to be something to make the American public think that everything was okay, when in fact it wasn't. So the corporatists outside the government of George W. Bush and inside the government of George W. Bush came up with a pretty cool plan, and that was to start goosing up the value of people's homes in a way that would make homeowners think, well, son of a bitch, I'm rich. How did this happen? Back in the day, when you bought a house, back in the day being 40s, 50s, 60s, even into the 70s, by the time you paid off that 30-year mortgage, your house's value might have gone up maybe, I don't know what, maybe 2% a year. So at the end of a 30-year period, your house is worth about 60% more than what you paid for it. And you had a nice little investment there, something to pass on to the kids. But that got deep-sixed about the time that the savings and loan scandal was ripped open and swallowed America, thanks to the previous George W. Bush, Herbert Bush, and his bastard boys. But I digress. So here we are in this country, and the rest of the world is going, what the hell? All of a sudden, a $150,000 house in this country was worth, quote, quote, $650,000. Well, Jesus God, honey, pack up the kids. Let's head for Spain or someplace. And that's exactly what we did. We had a pretty weird ride for about 10 years on debt and credit. And, of course, at the same time, the corporatists were sending all the jobs out of the country so that when the house of cards did come tumbling down, as it has now, it guaranteed that there'd be no way, listen to me, no way to recover. We don't have a manufacturing base any longer, do we? You tell me, what's made in America? I mean, when you go out this week to buy the Easter candy for your kids, look on the label of where the candy is made, where some of the ingredients of the candy you're buying comes from. So it's that's where we are. So Obama is over there trying to sell the rest of the world, bless his heart, on more of the same. And the rest of the world is saying, no more of the same. You people went crazy over there in the United States. You went mad. And you want us to? Don't think so. We really like you, President Obama, and we think your wife is wonderful and you got 2 great little kids, but no. We'll stick with systems that work, whether they be the Scandinavian model, kind of a democratic socialist model like they have in Germany, whatever the hell you call it in France. That's what we're going to stick with that. And as Jeffrey Gartner, professor at Yale School of Management, said, the irony is that most of our partners, after berating us for being irresponsible and greedy, want to return to the era when American consumers supported the world, when we spent too much and saved too little, end quote. That's what they want. That's what the Chinese are waiting for. But it's not going to happen again. It's over. It's over. It's finished. So what is Obama going to do? Of course, none of this is going to be said explicitly. People are not going to be sitting around and talking about how the U.S. and the U.K. pretty much destroyed the entire world economic system. No. Because nobody wants to rattle the markets further by suggesting that it's been blown up completely by blue-eyed white people. Nobody wants to say that not because it's not true. I mean, Lula da Silva said it down in Brazil, an emerging world power, who will probably be going nuclear within the next 5 years. No one wants to say it in the European Union. The Chinese are terrified to say it because we are their market. The Germans, who are the leading exporters on earth, not the Chinese, the Germans, they don't want to bring it up. The Russians just want to see us collapse. They are so sick of the United States they could just pee blood. So anything bad that happens to us, Medvedev and Putin are going to sit back and go, stupid Americans, look at them. And that's fine. We kind of had that coming. So the host of this meeting, Gordon Brown, UK Prime Minister, has been jetting around the world lately to make it appear like there's some kind of accord going on. It was Gordon Brown who was in the presence of Lula da Silva when the Brazilian Prime Minister talked about blue-eyed white people screwing up the entire planet. So I don't know. It's this G20 is part of the problem. G20, its membership, according to the New York Times, includes a broad swath of the world economy. About 85% of the global gross domestic product is going to be represented here. But few doubt that the meetings are going to eclipse the annual meeting of the G7. That's Britain, France, Germany, Italy, United States, Canada, and Japan. At the G20 meetings, with China and India in the room, and with countries like Indonesia, Saudi Arabia, Brazil, and Turkey represented, there's no shared assumption that economic interdependence is necessarily a good thing. You see how that works? Oh, my God.